how to attract high-paying clients that will pay you high-ticket, recurring, utilizing this super simple strategy. Today, I'm going to be showing you behind the scenes. We're going to be tactical about this. I'm going to be showing you an actual case study of $1 million product. I'm going to be showing you and deconstructing the numbers, how I did it for just this one super simple sales process, how you'll be able to do it as well when you understand these key elements. So welcome back to this traffic series where today I'm going to be showing you, now that we have identified our ideal clients and customers, how do we actually attract them and have them come to us instead? And today we are also going to be very tactical about it. I'm going to be showing you the moves on my laptop to show you how this process looks like. Now, in order for me to show you how this process looks like, I'm going to be utilizing this super simple case study, which is a book that I released close to about 2 years ago called the Content Multiplier Formula. This book has done well over $1 million if I were to kind of take into account all of the other high ticket clients. Like, I don't even know how to put a number attached to it, but what I can tell you is just on the front end alone, this book has done over $1 million. And today you will see exactly how and why that is the case. Now, when it comes to really understanding the entire big picture, there are two numbers that you must know. The first number that you must know in every single business is a question that is asked in one of my favorite reality TV series of all time, which is basically, number one is, how much does it cost to acquire a customer? Now you'll notice that this question is asked a lot in Shark Tank, and especially in season 1, you'll see many participants stumble when it comes to answering this question. Like, they don't know the answer. Okay. As the season progressed, you'll see that they knew that this was a question that was going to be asked all the time. So participants became a little bit more prepared. But in business, in the online world, how is this applied? You see, 15 years ago, if you wanted to get more sales, more reach, more leads, more visibility, what were your options back then? Back then, you would have to advertise on radio, TV, newspaper, magazines, banner ads. But today, any one of us, we can go to our mobile phones over here, and we can go to Facebook, Google, YouTube, Instagram, and we can run an ad. And these ads over here could be image ads, video ads on Facebook, right? And all of these different ads, ad 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all these different variations, they will all have a different cost associated to acquiring a customer. Right? What is question number one? Question number one is, how much does it cost you to acquire a customer? The second question that you must know is, how much is an average customer worth? Whenever you acquire a customer, how much is an average customer worth to you? What if I told you that the answer to these two questions are literally how you scale a business? Because how you scale a business is all math. And you're gonna see why by the end of this video. Just by understanding these two numbers, just this one super simple funnel has generated over $1 million. That is really the key to building a traffic strategy that is profitable. You see, to get your answer to this first question, guess what? Whenever you run the Facebook ad on, say, Facebook tells you this number, right? So if you spent $100 today, and if you got 5 sales, how much does it cost you to acquire a customer? So if you spend $100 and you got 5 sales, it would cost you $20 to acquire a customer, right? And Facebook tells you this, if you have the right tracking in place, you know that by spending $100, which they'll tell you, if your tracking in place, you'll know that you made 5 sales, and therefore it costs you $20 to acquire a customer. Now this is just the sales process, sometimes known as a sales funnel. Now what we're gonna do is, we're gonna go and take a look at the sales process or the sales funnel in order to make this work. And right now, what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna head over to my laptop right now, and let's take a look at this sales process that is utilized to sell this book, the Content Multiplier Formula. Now this book called the Content Multiplier Formula, notice that there are a few steps associated to this process, okay? What is this process? The process works like this. The process is step number 1, I give them the free book. Oh, in fact, let me show you the actual numbers. Let's begin with the end in mind so you can see how powerful this is, okay? I am going to go to my stats, and you will see that if I were to refresh this page, okay, let me just kind of refresh it again, because I know that some of you might be skeptical, saying, hey, maybe this is photoshopped or... Okay, so this funnel step over here, on a surface level, you'll see that it's nearly 2 years old, and you'll see that it's done about 990K on the front end. But notice it says average cart value $89.95. Okay, let's pause this for a second. Okay, $89.95. So now what does this mean? It means that on average, whenever a person goes through this funnel, they are worth $89.95. Whenever a person goes through this sales process, on average, they're worth $89.95. What does this tell me? It tells me that if I want to generate traffic by understanding where my traffic is already hanging out, who my ideal clients are, every time a person goes through this sales process, they're worth $89.95. So this book cost me about $10 to print and ship it. So roughly, ballpark numbers, it means that I can pay up to $79.95 to acquire a customer. Does that make sense? Before I start losing money. So in other words, if I were to show you the different steps in here, and again, a lot of people can teach you theory. This is literally not theory, okay? Now, I'm just gonna scroll down and I'm gonna show you like the numbers associated to each step. So you can see from this step here, about 247,000 people has visited, about 39,000 people gave me the name and email, of which 11,000 people bought, right? So about 4.46% of people bought this book, where they covered shipping and claimed this book, right? They paid for shipping and bought this book. So if we were to understand this first step, okay, what is step number 1? Step number 1 is basically free book plus shipping, right? So sometimes people don't understand this first step. They'll say, well, Peng Joon, because on the first step, I say this book is free. All you need to do is cover shipping, $7.95 if you live in the US, $14.95 anywhere else in the world. Now, some people who don't understand this, they'll say, well, that's why he makes his money. You know, he's making his money off shipping, because shipping worldwide doesn't cost $15. But here's the truth. This book here that is all colored, okay, that is about 205 pages right now. If we were to ship this book from the US to like South Africa or Malaysia, the truth is we hardly make any money. After factoring the cost of shipping and printing this entire book, we barely break even. Okay, when somebody from the US orders this book for $7.95, the cost of printing this 200-page colored book probably cost us just about there, after we take into account shipping as well. So in other words, at this level, we just break even. However, here's where the magic happens. Now, if I were to go back into this example over here, I know that some of you are gonna go all Sherlock Holmes on me and say, hey, wait a second, all these numbers, it doesn't add up to 990,000. Well, wait a second, okay? Notice that on the next step of the process, okay, I have upsells. Okay, what is an upsell? An upsell is kind of like going to McDonald's where the person is trained to ask you, would you like to have fries with that, right? So an upsell, after that, in the next process of this sales process, there is upsell number 1, okay, sometimes known as a one-time offer. There's upsell number 2, OTO2, right? Now this is for a $297 offer, and this is for a $97 per month offer. Now this is where the magic is. You see, this $1 million funnel, that is $990,000, this number of sales generated does not include the amount somebody pays me every single month when they renew. Let me say that again. This amount of 990K, including this average cart value, does not take into account when somebody pays me this $97 and renews each and every single month. That is where the magic is. You see, I'm not interested in selling this $7.95 book. in order for me to attract high-level clients, people that have money, I want to sell a recurring. And guess what? Selling a recurring at $97 is tough. So what do? I create a no-brainer offer, which is free book, just cover shipping, low risk. But for the people that's serious, the thing that I actually want to sell is a $97 per month recurring, which is basically part of my sales process over here, right? Over here, right? OTO2. So in other words, the thing that I want them to do is go through this sales process, which is really just free book, upsell 1, upsell 2, order confirmation. But by the way, it does not end there. After that, it continues. Ask yourself this question. Who do you think it's easier to market to? To a brand new customer or to an existing customer? So that's where we would maybe send them to a webinar. And then ultimately, we have an agency where we sell this thing called 52 in 2. And one of the things that we do is we also have high ticket offers where we send people in, and this is, for example, a $41,000 offer where a person has to pay $5,000 upfront and then 12 payments of $3,000 if they want to come to my studio and work in my team, where it's more of a done for you type of thing. But I'd like you to notice what's happening here. Now this is a $41,000 offer. If I wanted to attract my ideal client, my high ticket customers, by running an ad that says, hey everybody, my name is Peng Joon, I'd love to work with you and have you come to my studio, it's $41,000, guess what? I'm gonna get a ton of trolls and haters on my ad, right? However, in order to attract my high-level clients, my ideal customers, what am I doing here? I'm building a sales process so that I can play and understand these two numbers. How much does it cost to acquire a customer? How much is an average customer worth to me? Because of my sales process, notice what is happening. I am now increasing how much an average customer is worth to me. If you can make your average customer worth more to you than your competitor, that's how you win, right? Because the person that can pay most to acquire a customer wins. So how can you make your customers worth more to you? By having a sales process in place. Look, if somebody who sold a similar product as me that taught social media and automation of social media, and if all they did was sell their product through some website with no real sales process, and if they didn't know their numbers, how much would a book normally sell for? Maybe $10, $15, right? Maybe 20. That's kind of like pushing it. So that means the most they can pay to acquire a customer is like $15 to $20. Well, for me, I can pay up to $89.95 to acquire a customer and still break even, not taking into account the fact that this person becomes a recurring member, not taking into account that I can ascend this member into a higher level client, into my $30,000 mastermind, my $41,000 done for you service, because I've got a sales process in place. Now, so the question, coming back full circle, now we understand this big picture. Now it would be, so how would you attract your ideal client? How do I get this $41,000 done for you client? How do I attract these $97 per month subscribers? By first understanding, again, where we're hanging out. If you watched the last video, okay, and if you didn't, you need to watch it. Episode number 1 of this playlist is basically I talked about understanding where your clients and audiences are hanging out, right? So what does that mean? It means that if I had this sales process in place, by the way, if you don't know what the sales process is, or rather how to implement this tactically, I've included in the description box below my share links for my free plus shipping funnels as well as other proven sales processes so that you can literally have these sales processes transplanted into your account. I have that as a gift here just by watching this video, so make sure you claim these gifts. These are literally funnels that has made me millions of dollars. So back to this thing, okay? So how do I attract my ideal clients, people who would want to be interested in this book, right? How many of you would agree that a business model that made you $89 every time you gave a free thing away is a pretty solid business model? Now, some of you could be thinking, well, Peng Joon, I'm not, giving away books. I'm not a writer. I'm not an author. So this could be anything really. This could be a brick and mortar business. This could be client servicing For example, same thing here. My company, we service clients, $41,000 clients, but again, if I were to run that Facebook ad saying, hey guys, we're a full-fledged agency, let me show you, or let's work together, it's $41,000 a month, people would say I'm crazy, right? Same thing, if I try to run an ad for a recurring that's $97, running an ad to a $97 recurring a month, that's a tough sell. So what am I doing here? I'm creating the thing that helps me sell the thing that I actually want to sell, which is basically my $97 per month, which is highly scalable. I can add 10,000 people into that program and it doesn't cost me anything extra, okay? So in other words, if I were to attract more people into this funnel, and again, I hope you can see it's not theory, it's literally $1 million funnel. What do? I'm now thinking, who are the people that is in my Dream 100 where if they have a following, they might be interested in what it is that I have to offer. Okay, so for example, it could be Gary Vee. I know that people will follow Gary Vee because Gary Vee's message, Gary Vaynerchuk, is always about documenting and content creation and doing what it is that you're doing and putting into a process. I know that I can create a Facebook ad that targets Gary Vee's audiences, that talks about social media and automation and how to do it while still having a life. And Gary Vee's audiences would understand. I know that I could create a YouTube video based on keywords that people are searching for. So for example, how to automate social media process. And I could talk about automating social media in a 15-minute video where the call to action at the end of it all is promoting this book. So I know because I have mapped it out and I began with the end in mind, I now know how to either run ads or create content based on how I want to attract my dream customers. So now, guess what? Because I know my numbers, okay, and we're going to be talking about how to understand your numbers on platform-specific strategies as well, okay? But now we need to understand the big picture, right? So that means I can go on Facebook and I can start running ads. And because I know by understanding where my audiences are already hanging out, who they follow, the pages that they like, because I mapped it out in advance, I can now create ads that targets these people. I can now create free content that targets these people based on where they hang out and based on the conversation that is already taking place. All because I know these two numbers, which is the big picture strategy. What are these two questions again? Number one, how much does it cost to acquire a customer? You must know the answer to this. And the platforms today has made it super simple. And number two, the answer you must know is how much is an average customer worth to you? I know that on average, for this specific sales process or sales funnel, I know that for every $1 I spend to acquire a customer, we pay about $30+ to acquire a customer. But because I know that even though I pay $30 to acquire a customer on average on the front end, not including the recurring, not including the upsells, is worth $89.95. So that is why the person who can pay most to acquire a customer wins. Most of the time, people who sell a book usually sell for $15-20. So they won't be able to pay more to acquire a customer more than $20. So think about it this way. If I went on Facebook and I'm telling Facebook I can pay $30 to acquire a customer, and a competitor says I can only pay $20 to acquire a customer, whose ad do you think Facebook will run? And when you finally understand this concept, that is when you'll be able to ask yourself the next question. So in order to attract this ideal client or customer or audience, do you want to focus on search marketing, which is really based upon what people are searching for? Okay, this could be a YouTube video, this could be Google, right? Or is it based on interruption marketing? Is it based upon the pages people follow, they like, the influencers, the books they read, and now I am entering a conversation based on when people are doing this, when they're swiping on their phone and going on Facebook or Instagram. How can I actually enter the conversation that's happening so that I can introduce this product? And the way to do that would be by first having clarity. Okay, so if you want to attract that ideal client, are you going for search or are you going for interruption marketing? Let me know in the comments below your biggest takeaway, which ones resonate most with you, but most importantly, what you learned from this framework over here, because the answer to scaling traffic, the big picture to profit, is by understanding your numbers. How you scale your business is all math. As always, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to this channel for our next video. We are doing, as you probably know, we're doing a giveaway, a lot of prizes to be given, and you gotta be in it to win it. Hope you enjoyed this one. I'll see you in the next video. So if you like this video on traffic, this book right here that was just released by my friend Russell Brunson is literally the #1 book on traffic. I literally paid $50,000 for this book, and the reason for that is because I'm part of Russell Brunson's mastermind. That's $50,000 a year, and one of the things that he did is he gave this book to us about half a year before it went public. But it's finally live right now, and if you'd like to get a copy of this book, the details are below this video in the description. And one of the things that I did to support my friend Russell Brunson is I've prepared all these different bonuses that helps you with the streamlining of your traffic, creating systems around it, but most importantly, implementing all of the strategies in here. Details are all below this link. If you're gonna get the #1 best book on traffic, you might as well get some killer bonuses together with it. Details are below in the description box. I'll see you on the other side.